Well, Lindsay, we got a lot of puppies here today playing, and a good variety of ages and sizes. And ages and sizes in people is also important for puppies. What are some of the things when people are socializing their puppy that they need to think about? Why is that important?
There are lots of things to think about when socializing your puppy, and it's not just having them play with other dogs. If you look around here today, you see young children, older people, people wearing hats with different shapes. It's important to think about all of the things that your puppy needs to be socialized.
So do dogs really know the difference if I have long curly hair or I wear my hair up? I mean, can my dog even not recognize me if I put a hat on?
Absolutely. One of the things that I hear most about is he was fine with my uncle, and my uncle came over last week and he growled at him. And I say, is there anything that was different about him? And sometimes people say, you know what? He was wearing a big winter coat and a big winter hat. All of the things that we put on change the way that our puppies see us. It changes
even
our shape.
our sunglasses?
Even our sunglasses.
Okay.
Our haircut, our hair shape. Someone might have big curly hair one day and then pull it back the next day. It completely changes the way they look.
Okay, so they do focus somewhat on what they're seeing. And so I would imagine like umbrellas, people with canes, people with walkers, people in a wheelchair.
Yep, all common things
be,
that dogs react to.
So it isn't just socializing your dog, like taking them to the park or taking them to the grocery store. It's actually exposing them to a variety of items, like a closed umbrella, an open umbrella, a child crying, children playing nice.
Yep, anything that
children
you can
running
think
and
of.
screaming. I know that that's something that sets my dog off. If he sees children running and screaming, he thinks that they're hurt and he wants to run over and protect.
And it's possible that as a puppy, he was never around children and didn't get that exposure. So we try to cover all the bases.
So our puppy club, the purpose of our puppy club then is because we have this nice area for people to come and be at our puppy club, it gives them an opportunity. They don't have to go out and search for these people. We kind of set some of these things up here at Puppy Club so that they're exposed to it. We encourage people to bring their children and to bring their puppies. And when they come to Puppy Club, what do people need to do? What do they need to make sure before they take their puppy anywhere? Are there vaccinations or things that people need to be really leery of? Or when shouldn't I take my puppy somewhere?
Well, in the old days, people were worried about taking their puppy out of the house before they were 6 months old and had all of their vaccinations. Now we know that socialization is more important than worrying about disease, but it is still important that your puppy's vaccinated for distemper, and they need all of their distemper boosters at the age-appropriate time. So if a puppy is 6 weeks old, it should have its first, and then within the next 4 weeks needs to have its second booster. And for Puppy Club, we prefer puppies to be 10 weeks old or have their first 2 distemper vaccinations, and we also recommend Bordetella vaccination.
And what is Bordetella?
A Bordetella vaccination protects a puppy against kennel cough, which is very common in areas where dogs are in big groups or in a kennel situation. So you actually have to ask for it for most veterinarians. They don't offer it up automatically.
Okay. And so is it a good idea to take a young puppy to like a public dog park?
It's actually debatable whether or not it's a good idea to take a puppy to a dog park. Dog parks are an uncontrolled environment. There might be a lot of feces on the ground, which can spread worms and other diseases. There might be dogs there that aren't necessarily dog social or appropriate. And puppies are very unique in the way they play and interact. And a lot of adult dogs don't appreciate face licking, getting jumped on, ankle biting. So your puppy might actually be at more risk in a public dog park because of all of those uncontrolled environments. A puppy class that does socialization play and a little training is great, and then a social group is even better.
Okay, and this is just a social group. This is no formal training. This is just come and romp with your dog. Now, is it important at what stage in a puppy's age do they start to become a little bit more assertive? Because I know that we have puppies here today that I think our youngest is 15 weeks, and then on up. So when do you see even puppy play changing, maybe to be more assertive or a little rougher?
That's a good question, because puppies play best in an age category that's close to theirs, within 1 or 2 weeks. They're in that critical period between 8 weeks in about 14, 15 weeks. So they're very open to new things.
Okay.
Right at about 5 months to 6 months, a lot of dogs start to kind of do this adolescent play where they do scruff biting and body slamming, and sometimes they do some bullying. So it depends on the puppy and how well they play. Sometimes they're able to play much through their adolescence. Small dogs in particular socialize differently because they mature slowly.
So is that kind of like maybe having a toddler thrown in or a teenager thrown in with a toddler?
Absolutely.
And it's not a good mix. The teenager's bored, or I don't want to be here.
Yep.
So people need to look at the age of the puppy that they're playing with. And I think that's another advantage to our puppy club, is these are people that come with their puppies and they meet other people that have puppies, and sometimes they can even arrange play times on their own time. They can go to each other's houses. It's kind of like when you have children in kindergarten, sometimes you find a babysitter or a mutual friend by having your children play together. So there's a lot of advantages of taking your dogs. Now, in addition to socializing your puppy, is it important why do I need to go to obedience?
Puppy club, as we said before, is not to replace a puppy class. It's still important to go to an obedience class. The support is huge. When you have a puppy, every week you have something new that you're working through. Chewing, biting, going potty in the house, crate training, being afraid of something new. All of those things an obedience instructor can help you through.
So you kind of find out that you're not in this alone. There's other people going through the same thing.
Yes, it's like a support group.
Support group, okay.
But it's never too early to teach your puppy to sit and be patient, to wait at doors, to leave items alone that they shouldn't be bothering, to give up items that they are treasuring. And a lot of people think, oh, well, he's only 8 weeks. But it's never too early to start teaching them new things.
And it's never too late either.
Correct, it's never too late.
So if you have a puppy and you haven't done anything with that puppy, and you're thinking, oh, well, we should have done this earlier, getting into an obedience class or going to some formal training, I guess what I found for myself was it gives you an opportunity to train your dog in a controlled environment. One of the scariest things for me is teaching my dog to come, because my dog can just take off running. And because they do this in a controlled environment, there are still distractions, but your dog learns to listen to you with distractions, but in the safety of that environment. And I think that's really important, that when people are training, especially puppies, that all of a sudden, in an instant, they can take off running and be gone, or, and maybe get injured. So I think it is important to have that controlled environment. What should people look for when they're looking for a puppy class, or an obedience class, or even an agility class? What is the important thing? What should they look for in an instructor and in the place where the class is being held?
The number one thing I think people should look for when they're looking for an obedience class is an instructor that uses only positive methods. No punishment, no harsh training collars, all positive. And there are lots of different ways to define positive reinforcement. And what we encourage people to do is look for a trainer with a lot of experience, or one that's certified through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. You want to look for someone who has maybe done puppy classes for a lot of years. With that experience comes the ability to know what is healthy play, what's not healthy play, because this is a new thing, so a lot of trainers are doing it, but maybe don't have the skills to help through the puppies, work through the different issues that they have with play.
Also a good idea to maybe attend a class without your dog.
Call and ask if you can sit in. Yep.
Okay. And then do you encourage everybody in the family to train the dog, or should one person train the dog? I mean,
as many people that can make it to the obedience class should go to the obedience class.
And using the same commands, or using the same words, Somebody can't say sit and somebody else says sit down, or somebody says here and somebody else says come, because the dog will find that confusing.